Episode 7 begins in New York as Ellen Wilson and Thomas Paine prepare to travel to Korea for space negotiations. Not North or South, just Korea. Before leaving, she receives a serious phone call with groundbreaking information that dramatically advances the plot of the show. No, sorry, could not help it. Her father has suffered mild heart attack. Concerning? Of course. She is forced to stay behind while Paine continues trip. On flight, Paine discusses NASA matters with Margot Madison, completely oblivious that they are flying over top-secret Soviet base and being pursued by Soviet MiG. Suddenly, aircraft is struck by missile, destroying plane and killing everyone aboard. Back in United States, Ellen visits father for some character exposition. She learns of attack and is named acting administrator of NASA. At NASA headquarters, officials and viewers struggle to understand why Soviets would shoot down clearly marked civilian aircraft, or why Russian MiG made no attempt to communicate or intercept plane. Turns out, incompetent American pilots had flown over highly sensitive Soviet military region of Sakhalin. Forward-thinking Soviets were simply eliminating possible intelligence threat. Risk starting nuclear world war over expense of possible espionage. Makes sense. Communication with American astronauts Daniel Poole and Nathan Morrison, currently training in Star City, is suddenly cut off. Meanwhile, intelligence reports reveal Soviets have placed their Buran shuttle on launch pad earlier than expected. General Bradford wants Margot to determine if Buran can be weaponized. However, she realizes its boosters appear dangerously unstable and argues Soviets should be warned. Bradford refuses to share information. At Outpost Bar, Karen Baldwin agrees to sell to Tracy's new husband, Sam. Elsewhere, Kelly Baldwin discovers information about her biological parents in Vietnam and begins searching. And since show apparently needs more subplots than NASA has acronyms, Karen Baldwin shares beer with kid she used to babysit, Tracy and Gordo's son, Danny. He is leaving next week. Beer leads to dancing. Dancing leads to unresolved emotional trauma, which of course leads to creepy, cringe-inducing kiss. Karen gently pushes Danny away. She goes home to Ed. In Star City, astronaut Danielle Poole has been locked in her quarters as Soviet authorities isolate American astronauts. She is eventually visited by a Soviet engineer who speaks cryptically and tells her how famous Soviet cosmonauts once stayed in same room. He points to names etched into door. Turns out he is none other than legendary Soviet space hero, Comrade Sergei Korolev, having survived surgery nearly 20 years earlier and therefore responsible for entire timeline of show. When Danielle finally leaves room, her name is etched into door as well. At Jamestown Base, Tracy pilots Luna APC while Moon Marines harmonize Ride of the Valkyries. Apparently they still made Apocalypse Now, even though Vietnam War never really happened. They arrive at Soviet-occupied mining site. Warmonger Americans confront peaceful Soviet crew with weapons and force them to abandon claim. Marines have bro moment and replace Soviet flag with stars and stripes. Back on Earth, officials celebrate successful operation, but Margot watches silently, aware Cold War in space has just escalated dramatically.